Going through crazy times right now, and many of the inflation issues, the money issues people are dealing with in the economy are literally causing the mental health crisis. And people don't want to draw that parallel. They want to act like they're two separate things. Oh, the economy is not doing so well and socially things are not going so right. But these are really linked issues, and a lot of the money and economic issues are leading to the social dysfunction we're seeing. So let's listen to some of the people and see how they are managing this type of scenario.
I'm not going to end it, but I can't fucking wait for it to end.
Based on all the comments on my video, it seems like we're all just about ready to go, so I think we should just start a revolution.
So that's just a short clip there, right? So this woman, she's kind of unfulfilled in work. She's making some money, but it's not enough to really build a sustainable future. And it's kind of a strong statement for this video to start with is, I'm not ready to end it, but I'm so ready for it to end. And I think a lot of people, they might be making jokes about things like their life ending, things like that. But they might be, that joke might be hiding somewhat of a reality of how they really feel about their life. And a lot of people are kind of unhappy with their lives and not finding fulfillment, and then they feel like, you know, ending their lives and things like that. So that's a reality that people are dealing with, and she's been quite honest here. So I think people should think about, if this system, and this system is very unstable in the West, not providing job stability, not providing, you know, many other stability in terms of a sustainable future for many people, inevitably it will cause mental health issues. And we can't write off all the mental health issues and just say, oh, it's because people are isolated, because people are spending too much time on the internet or playing video games or not socializing enough. The real issue in many cases is a financial issue, right? And that's something she's pointing out here. And if we move on to the next clip, which is kind of interesting.
Shit, I don't have much to lose at this point, so I might as well go out with a bang, you know what I mean? All jokes aside though, this is not a coincidence that we all feel this way. It is a byproduct of a reaction to the world that we live in. Nothing about the lives that we live are natural and normal. We are only living to work and working to survive, which means we're not living at all. We are just trying to survive. And especially in countries like America that was built on this idea of independence, that was on purpose because it created a society where each man is for himself.
So what she's trying to point out is quite important here. Now, I know when I make my videos, lots of people think, oh, you're meant to be talking about the economy, economics, Ethan. You're not meant to be talking about society. But these issues are linked, right? Because you have this culture of individualism rather than community in the West. It does create these isolated people, and the lack of community contributes to a lack of meaning. And this is linked to, people feeling unfulfilled at work. Typically, the work environment, historically, going back decades and centuries, you'd go to work for the same people. You'd go to work in a company that would be the same people that you'd be in your social environment. That would be your friends and family, or to be your neighbors and so on. So when you're not in that environment, it does create a lot of stress because you're kind of around people you don't feel comfortable of being around, or complete strangers. So if we just continue, let's see someone else's perspective. And this woman's perspective is quite interesting because she mentions, focusing on the simple things in life and not necessarily rushing through life. And, people who are millennials, they don't have these super high lifestyle expectations that maybe people in the past would a decade or two ago. They're not necessarily trying to buy an expensive car or an oversized house. They're looking for some of the simple things, but it looks like they can't find that fulfillment given how the world's currently operating with the economy.
But at the same time, there are people who just genuinely want the simple things in life. It's the bare minimum, the very little thing that I think we being as humans, we deserve. They just want to live a very calm life where life moves on a slow pace, where it's not like life is just rushing and rushing and rushing, where you have to consistently labor so hard just to achieve little things that are just normal things that you should have.
There you go. See what I find interesting here is, I don't know where she's living, but I assume she's in Africa, is that, like, I thought this was an issue isolated to the West, but many people outside the West are feeling that stress and pressure too. So it's interesting seeing how it really is an issue that needs to be addressed. Otherwise it could play out with real social dysfunction. So let's listen to this guy talking about politics and hopelessness and things like that, which is going on in the West right now. Lots of people are looking for a political answer, but there might not be a political answer to this cost of living crisis that people are dealing with.
The point that people who have hit their rock bottom of hopelessness, people who feel like the American promise that was promised to their great-grandparents and their grandparents and their mother that has been broken time and time again when it comes to them now in this generation of who they are as voters, death has become an option. And so when you say to a person, oh, it could be much worse under so-and-so, they have already chosen that the option of death is available to them.
So, he's making quite strong statements here, right, about death being an option to him and things like that, or other people who are feeling a sense of hopelessness, and people realizing that politically, left wing or right wing, there is no solution. And at the end of this video, I'll give you some context there, because some of the coaching programs I do provide, option number 3 here, is to help people find a solution, because lots of people are realizing there is no solution at a macro level, at a country level, at a political level. You've seen the left wing and the right wing in America, or in the West in general, both fail to provide solutions to people, right? And, you think the solution would be, I don't know, preventing mass migration, things like that. I won't get into all the different perspectives. People can say there needs to be more social security, higher taxes for the rich, lower taxes for the poor, things like that. But, you've seen the left wing and the right wing being quite useless, I would say, in the last last decade in terms of providing a solution here. And the solution is individual. There's not going to be a solution at the macro level unless there's some kind of literal revolution, which I don't see happening. So that's what I try to provide through my coaching programs, which, as I say, option number 3 here, where you have a unique skill set and a unique circumstance, right? So, this guy, I don't know him personally, but let's just say he has, his background, I would assume, would be African American. Maybe he can speak different languages. Maybe he understands business in America and he could travel to Africa to understand business there, build business connections, be a good salesperson, develop a unique skill set, and be kind of a one-person business in a sense. Maybe engaged in trade and importing and exporting goods, things like that. You need to think about your unique skill set, your unique individuality, and provide a good essentially be kind of a good freelancer, a good consultant, a good individual, and essentially be a company of one where you have no competition because you have quite a unique skill set. Those are the type of solutions you can have to make a lot of money, which will allow you to live the lifestyle you want. Trying to pursue politics and, we're going to vote for Trump, we're going to vote for Brexit, things like that, it hasn't really panned out and provided any solutions for people, and that's the sense of disillusionment they feel towards politics.
I cannot figure it out, and I am so frustrated. Why is it that I have to work 40 hours a week just so I can have a place to live?
I want to say as a side note here, I'm not the biggest fan of feminism, as I mentioned in some of my videos, and what a lot of women are realizing is that were told they were going to have this privileged life of being in the workforce, not having to have a husband or a boyfriend or whatever, but that comes at an expense, right? You double the workforce, you have both men and women working rather than just men and not women. You double the workforce, that's double the supply of labor, that's half the salary that people are going to be getting. A woman could have lived an easier life, you has a housewife and things like that, but if you choose to work, as a woman and large have decided to do, you're going to have to deal with the challenges there where the economy is not doing great, you're working a lot of long hours for basic life living costs. That's the situation you're in currently in the West, so you can't really complain about it. And one thing I want to point out, I don't know this person personally, but when you are working those long hours, there's not really time to have certain good lifestyle practices. You can do your best, but you're currently burning out. You're always almost in burnout mode, working your life on a regular basis. So she looks like someone who's kind of really stressed out, and you really got to think about balancing your life to make the most of it, so you're not in the position she's in, which can be quite draining, to be honest. So you got to be careful of how you manage things, and that's something I'd advise everyone there to look out for their best interest and look out for their health and not only their financial health, but also their physical health and their mental health, so you don't end up burning out like she does.
Maybe once in a year they just pass each other, they don't talk, they don't communicate, so there's just this depression in life because you just feel like, what is all this? Why are we living like this? Is this what I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life? You feel like this world is so beautiful, right? Like the world has beautiful things that you would want to see, especially when you see people record videos or some that are able to travel, and you're like, these places look so amazing, and you cannot go. Imagine if you work in America where possibly you only have 14 days to actually get a break, 14 days to go on a vacation.
So what she was covering here, and I just got a quick clip there. Firstly, she was talking about people living lives and not necessarily knowing their neighbors, not having a sense of community, and also people seeing things on social media consistently where things look so well and looking like they're going so well in other countries or in other locations and other people's lifestyles, and you can't live that life because you don't have a lot of flexibility to get time off work. Maybe it's a bit overpriced compared to your budget range. And this lack of community, lack of meaning, lack of freedom is really straining on people, and people are looking for a solution there. So let's listen up to one or two more examples of people who are kind of really at their wits' end of dealing with this system and looking for a way out.
Without kids and while I'm healthy and able to do things, it's just hard out here. I have to find a way out. There has to be a way out of this.
People literally have to go and work a lot of hours and still have to cut a lot of things that they maybe possibly could have a little bit of happiness from.
So what we saw there with that white woman and what she's saying here, this African woman right now, is that people understand the game is rigged. They might not. I come from a finance background. I mentioned, working at Goldman Sachs, HSBC, and Morgan Stanley. So I can understand a lot of the economics behind central bank money printing, things like that, creating the dysfunction we see in the financial system and your financial freedom. A lot of people, even if they don't know that, like we saw with the white woman, they can sense the game is being rigged. They can sense the system's being rigged. They don't know how to word it. They might say, oh, I want more free time. I want more freedom. But they can sense it, and that's what you have at a macro level, is people getting fed up and they're looking for a solution. And that's why you need to kind of find a way out. You need to find another option. Following the traditional path of getting good grades at school and university and college and so on, and then working your standard 9 to 5 to 40 years, that's not really going to pay off. You have to find an alternative solution, and that alternative solution is unique to you, right? Say it might be because you know different languages, you got connections to different countries, you have unique skill sets, and you combine that to a unique skill set, a unique skill stack, where you stack those skills, say for example someone who has coding skills with language skills. They can speak Spanish, for example, they have connections in Spanish speaking countries, and they can combine that to becoming a unique business of one, and you offer that to certain companies that might be looking for a Spanish speaking coder who understands Western culture too. These are all the type of unique approaches you have to take, right, through like a career coaching program, which I do offer.
They can't even do it. You can't even have enough. You don't even have enough time to go and maybe go outside and just enjoy a little bit of fun. No fun at all, because that fun is going to cost you a lot of money, and you don't even have much time to do it. So when you think about it, it's like there's not much purpose or any little maybe enjoyment or satisfaction to life. It's more like you just came to this life to just live and just keep hustling for something that maybe you're not even seeing the result. There's no result other than the result of you just having a record of the bills that you've paid your whole life. So it's not satisfied. There's no way you're going to be satisfied with such a thing.
So this is great, and I think she kind of did a good summary there of the points I'm trying to make here, right? There's no payoff. Lots of people are going through the hamster wheel, doing more work, it's not going anywhere, and they're looking for some kind of end game payoff. Where's the payoff, right? Because a lot of people, even if you go back a decade or two, the payoff would be buying a nice house and, decorating that house however works for you and your lifestyle, and having a wife and having kids and things like that. But those, increasingly, there is no payoff there, right? What's the payoff? That you're gonna buy a coffee on your work day, you're going to eat some go to a fancy restaurant on a Friday? Is that the payoff? What really is the payoff? People are looking for the payoff, right? And people can't even do the basic things to enjoy their life and feel fun, have fun with their money. So for example, you might want to spend your Saturday going out with your friends to a nightclub or something, but that money, you're thinking, because everything's so overpriced, should I just stay at home and not go outside? So it makes people less social and leads to some of the social issues. And anytime you do spend having fun, even if it's playing video games, you're thinking, oh wait, maybe I should be doing some productive work. Should I be focusing on a side hustle? And you got to find an individual solution there, right? Because if you're always racked with worries about finances and guilt about spending your money and time in different ways, that's no way to live your life. And that's something that I try to provide through, as I say, my coaching programs, because the traditional pursuit of a particular lifestyle is not going to pursuit of what people are traditionally doing with just focusing on their jobs is not going to work. You're going to be stuck in you're going to be spiraling into bad habits, whether that's, say, drinking, smoking. To find that fulfillment, you're going to have mental health issues. You might need therapy for that, things like that. This system is designed to keep you going around like a rat in a rat race, a hamster on a hamster wheel, not providing you with the fulfillment and the long-term life that you actually want, and then you just rely on coping mechanisms, even if it's just watching Netflix and eating fast food and things like that. So that's what I try to help people through my coaching program, right? And I have 3 solutions here. The first, all these 3 are linked in the description. The first is a free ebook with some career lessons. The second is a free consultation call where I help you and talk you through your career and finance and give you some suggestions. And the third is a detailed step-by-step career coaching program where I help you find a fulfilling career and the next step in your career, so you can build yourself more time freedom, so you can be more independent of the company you're working for, whether that's remote work, hybrid work, becoming your own business, and also being rich forever. I help you manage your budget, savings, and investments, so you can build that for long-term financial stability. So ultimately, you can live a life you love on your terms. You don't have to be worried about being stuck in an office, having your freedom of speech restricted, having your freedom of movement restricted, never knowing when you could be laid off, never knowing when you're going to have to find quick fixes for your lack of fulfillment in life. I'm looking at providing long-term stability to you through some of my career coaching programs. So I hope to help you. Reach out to me with any of the 3 links in the description. There are 2 recommended videos on your screen right now. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.